Now we're streaming, guys. Sorry, I forgot to add myself to the stage. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, boys and girls, we are hours away, literally hours away from, America is hours away from World War III, guys. I'm obviously talking about the escalating situation in Venezuela. And the reason I'm giving you guys this real-time analysis, speculation, opinion, and of course for entertainment purposes only, if you guys are watching on TikTok, but if you guys are watching later back on YouTube, kind of take what I'm saying as gospel. Listen, guys, America is getting ready. America are moving assets. America are moving assets into location. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, guys, okay? Donald Trump says no to Tomahawks for Ukraine. 10,000 plus troops and 10% of the entire US Navy has been sent to Venezuela. Venezuelan president is pleading for peace with Donald Trump after Donald Trump sends in the CIA. United States Special Forces are conducting exercises on the Venezuelan coast. Like, guys, look, let me just quickly contextualize that. You know what? I'm not going to do it. I'll come back to that. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the United Kingdom, like, I don't know if you guys were on the live stream earlier on. Honestly, guys, I'm pretty convinced now somebody is watching this channel and they are either a government advisor or they are a government media spokesperson, because the stuff that I said this morning, have you guys noticed the stuff that, and look, guys, go and check out the live stream we did this morning. I was talking about stuff and I was saying things, constitutional, mob rule, you know, if the government can't, sorry, what just happened? Oh God, sorry guys. And if the government can't protect people, what's the point in having a government? You know, all the things that we were saying on the live stream this morning, Kemi Badenoch, basically, guys, all the mainstream media outlets have been saying literally the exact same thing that we were talking about this morning. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on and before we start this show, can you guys like, follow, comment, subscribe, bell notification? We're triple streaming, guys, so if you can't get your comment through on one platform, go to another platform, you know, because the platforms are open. So we're streaming on TikTok. Yes, we are good. So it's streaming on TikTok. We are streaming on YouTube. Yes, we are good. So we're streaming on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven One on YouTube. And we are also streaming on X. So, guys, look, the build-up, the military build-up off the coast of Venezuela, it's vast, it's undeniable, it's unbelievable, and I think this is going to happen quickly. It's happen quickly. You don't want to drag them out. Now, look, guys, talk about the Tomahawks for Ukraine. Those guys who've been watching this channel for a while, you guys know I've been saying, you know, what have I said about the Tomahawks? I've said no. I don't see the Americans giving Tomahawks to Ukraine. However, I did say if they do give them to Ukraine, there will be a limited targets that they're allowed to strike. Anyway, turns out Donald Trump is saying no to the Tomahawks. Now, look, guys, call me skeptical, call me cynical, call me cynical if you want. Right, guys, look, I'm going to give you speculation, analysis, and opinion here. So there was a conversation between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, like yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. Apparently a 2-hour conversation. I think that conversation went like this. Okay, Donald, if you do not give Ukraine Tomahawk missiles, I will not intervene if you move into Venezuela. You can take Venezuela as long as I can keep hands on Ukraine. Okay, Vladimir, you struck a hard bargain, but you know what? I think I like you, so I'm going to say yes. I think I'm going to say yes. Pete, he's saying if we don't give the Tomahawks to Ukraine, he'll not intervene in Venezuela. What's it like? What do you think, Pete? What do you think? I know Pete is a great guy. I've known him a long time. He's got great hair. He got some of the best hair in the Oval Office. He's my Minister of War. What do you think, Pete? Okay, Donald, let that shit fly, bro. And that's how I think it went, guys. I think that's what the real crux of that conversation was. I think this was Vladimir Putin coming to a deal with Donald Trump whereby the Americans do not give the Ukrainians, and it's official now, guys. It's official. I'll come on to that in a second. The Americans don't give. Sorry, the Americans do not give the Ukrainians. Sorry, I had to get there in the end. So many countries that I'm having to deal with at the moment, guys. The Americans do not give the Ukrainians Tomahawk missiles. In return, the Russians don't support Venezuela. When Trump sends his little special forces guys on their little, what is that on my knee? Their little birds into Venezuela. So President Trump today, guys, has publicly indicated his reluctance to supply Ukraine with long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles. Look, guys, if you've been watching my channel, you've been following this channel, you guys know how much of a non-story this actually is. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I give you guys real-time analysis, opinion, speculation. And when we did this, we did it together because we're a team, #team, Raven Fam, hear me now one time. When we looked at this, we decided that collectively, these Tomahawk missiles only have, and I say only, it's still a big payload. They have, I think that's a better phrase. The Tomahawk missiles have a 450 kilo payload, and the Ukrainians already have 1.1 ton. So it's not going to be a big game changer. I think this was a power play. So anyway, guys, so Donald Trump today has publicly indicated his reluctance to supply Ukraine long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles, despite earlier hints at the escalation. Let's get those Russians biting at our heels so we can go into Venezuela. As he prepares for a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, and it's a win-win. I mean, Trump's fantastic at this, guys. He really is. And by fantastic, I mean he's fantastic for America. In recent statements, Trump referenced conversations where he jokingly asked Putin if he minded the US providing a couple of thousand, it was never going to be a couple of thousand, guys, Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, adding that Putin doesn't want such a transfer. Of course, guys, this is an absolute no-brainer. Right, guys, so it does look like the Tomahawks are not going to Ukraine. It does look like the information and the direction and the military assets is all going to Venezuela. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Venezuela have just had a big oil dump. So it looks like there's oil, there's gold, there's rare earth materials in Venezuela. Trump's going to take Venezuela, guys. Mark my words. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to jump onto the chat. I am, and then we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk more about Venezuela, and I'm going to play a little video. It's like a. I'm probably not going to let the video play in its entirety, guys, because I never do. I always pretend I'm going to let that happen, but it never happens. Anyway, right, guys. Googly shared the live. Thank you so much. Googly's saying hello. 1973. What a fantastic year. He's saying hello. Huntress Sharon Owen is saying hello. Googly is saying, Sean, did you watch the Sun video? I've watched all the videos, guys. I'm all videoed up. Jill, David, Wi-Fi, Anna, Big Cam, Y-Tree. So many people joining, guys. Ragnar Lothbrok. Guys, we've literally got Ragnar Lothbrok watching. I thought apparently he's immortal. Emma661. Guys, I'm just going to jump down to the comments because I have got a lot to... Oh, and Prince Andrew has just resigned. Yeah, Prince Andrew's resigned, so he doesn't want to be a royal anymore. He signed a bit of paper that, I don't know, says he's not a royal. Nothing to do with the Epstein files, guys. Epstein files. Nothing to do with whatever, look, guys, he loves a party, doesn't he? He loves a party. He loves a party, old Prince Andrew. Oh, how old are you? Oh. Right, Google it is saying, I know the US would win a war between them, but Maduro said he would call up the whole country. Yeah, real quick, guys. So apparently, right, let me just give this. I'll give this now. I am going to go to talk about Venezuela in a minute, guys. 8 million people have volunteered from mainstream media, guys. 8 million people have, and again, this could be wildly off. 8 million people are ready to fight the Americans. Now, that's a big number, guys. That's a big number. Even if you don't give them all weapons, I know those special forces. I know a lot of U.S. Special Forces guys, and they're great guys. But numbers count for a lot. You know how like there's lots of movies and they say, but numbers mean nothing. You're like, no, mate. Numbers really do mean a lot. They really do. Numbers mean a lot. So Google is saying, the United States will win, but Maduro is saying he's going to call up the whole country. Not only is Maduro going to call up the whole country, but it looks like the whole country has answered. The crazy beast is saying, do you think Pakistan and Afghan war will drag further countries into the conflict? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think that is going to drag, not Iran. I think that is going to drag India into that conflict, and that is going to tie India down into that conflict. Remember, guys, okay, a couple of things I've talked about when we talk about global conflict on an industrial scale. I've said that India and Turkey, they are the aces in the hole, guys. If you can get India and Turkey in the bag, it's a win-win. It's one of, guys, the crazy beast is saying it's one of many fronts. There's lots of fronts out. Carl is saying Trump is acting. He's just acting. And then he's put like an emoji, but I don't know what that emoji, guys, I can't always see all the emojis. UK to take the lead. You're not in Venezuela. Absolutely not. We have nothing out there. Carl is saying, just like you said, Sean, in what context? Guys, there's so many people. Welcome everybody that's joining. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, look, I'm gonna be jumping onto Venezuela in a minute. Thank you everyone that's joining, liking, sharing the live, guys. Really do appreciate it. There are far too many names for me to mention on the live chat. We've got Lizzie, Catherine, Paul, Pulse Jump. We've got Nathan J, Matt Just, we've got Marie, we've got Roman B. And Google here is saying U.S. Admiral to retire amid U.S. strikes in the Caribbean. Okay, right, that's not. Listen, okay. So right now, as I'm speaking, guys, I'm calling it right now. The United States are hours away from sending their troops into Venezuela. This is obviously going to be another conflict front. I don't think this is going to be as easy as the United States think. Remember, 8 million Venezuelans have said they're going to fight the Americans. So, I understand that the U.S. military are great. They're fantastic. They've got all the air support. 8 million people, that's a lot of people, guys. That's a lot of people, even for DJT to deal with. So I'm going to go on to this now, guys. Let me, is it that one? That one? Right. I'm going to play a video for you guys now, okay? It's 2 minutes long. Just bear with it. I will be stopping it, guys. I'm not going to lie to myself.
Fox News alert, B-52 bombers are flying off the coast of Venezuela. Trump's not bluffing. Right now.
So this is a Fox News article, guys. This was released earlier on today, and it does articulate everything I've just said about Venezuela. I will be stopping this and giving you guys my commentary. So B-52 bombers are flying off the coast of Venezuela. Donald Trump is not bluffing.
Soldiers are built up in the Caribbean on ships in Puerto Rico, locked and loaded.
10,000 plus troops. That is a lot, guys. That is a lot, especially when you understand the capacity and the air support that the United States brings to bear.
Special operations helicopters were just seen flying 90 miles from Venezuela's coast. The chopper units used by Delta Force, Navy SEALs, and the Green Berets. The Black Ops were spotted off the coast of Trinidad. They're very important for search and rescue missions. Also spotted Little Birds. They're smaller but faster, designed for quick insertion of special operators behind enemy lines. The Ghost was also...
So, guys, look, let's just contextualize this. Imagine if this was Britain. Imagine if this was Britain and the Russians were conducting special forces operations 90 kilometers from our 90 miles from our coast. You know, they've got helicopters, they've got all sorts of stuff. They're getting, you know, they would be getting ready. You know, imagine how the media would portray that. You know, Russia preparing to strike, Russia doing this, Russia doing that. This is really happening right now, guys, and I promise you, we are hours away. This may even happen while we're on the live stream, guys.
Firm to be in the Caribbean. That's the nickname for MV Ocean Trader. It's the kind of ship that doesn't want to be found. It's designed for black ops and special missions because it's dark and blends in with cargo. There's more. 10% of the U.S. naval power is now in the region. It's a
right. Did you hear that, guys? 10% of the U.S. naval power is in the region. Like, I don't think people understand what that actually means. All right. So first of all, the United States have the biggest navy in the world by a factor of 10. So when you do the maths, the biggest navy in the world is off the coast of Venezuela. The Venezuelans can't deal with that. Nobody can. Like, there isn't a country that can deal with 10% of the US Navy. It isn't a thing. It's not a thing, guys. Nobody can deal with that. So already by naval power alone, they've got an overwhelming force. Now, when you consider that the US Navy has the world's second biggest air force, second only to the US Air Force, now you start to try and, now you start to conceptualize the amount of firepower that is off the coast of Venezuela. Guys, I promise you, we are hours away from World War III right now, guys. Guys, honestly. And the term World War III, I'm calling it already, guys. I'm saying that we're already in World War IV. Just the way things happened, World War IV started before World War III. Now they're gonna talk about air assets, guys. So listen to the air assets.
Major shift. There's subs, several destroyers, and F-35 fighters in Puerto Rico. That's top of all the coke boats getting smoked to pieces by the week. Kilos of cocaine are washing ashore. Don't tell Hunter. Dozens of bad hombres becoming shark bait. It's got Maduro's attention. He's the dictator of the narco state, a very bad hombre. And we just doubled the bounty on his head. It's now 50 mil.
50 million, guys. Come on. Does anybody have any contacts in like South America? Because I mean, I could do with a quick 50 million, guys. I'd share it with you. I'd take 25 and you guys could share the rest. Whoever's coming with me.
According to the New York Times, Maduro offered us a dominant stake in Venezuela's oil, gold, and mineral wealth and promised to cut ties with Russia and China. And Trump and Rubio said no. That tells me the gunboat diplomacy is going to end up with no Maduro and a Venezuela aligned with us, not Putin.
You see, here's what we're talking about. We're talking about a new strain of the global order. Like the global order right now, where countries are allied with other countries and they're allied with these guys, and these guys send those guys oil, and those guys send grain to those guys, and then those guys send attack aircraft to those guys. It's all changing, guys. I promise you, it's all changing. And you know what the new world structure is going to be? Let me finish this video and I'll talk about the new world structure.
American action in Latin America hasn't always ended well. Look at the Bay of Pigs. Other times, it's a piece of cake. It's our backyard. And Trump's just reestablishing the Monroe Doctrine, a.k.a. the Dunroe Doctrine. Hopefully the Venezuelan...
Sorry, guys. Donald Trump's just reinvigorating the Monroe Doctrine. It's now called the Dunroe Doctrine. Like, I wonder how long it took him to think of that. I wonder if there was someone in Oxford workshopping it.
General does the right thing and collects the $50 million bounty. No one wants a messy conflict in South America. Maduro controls drug traffickers who are pretty strapped. They have military-grade weapons. And Biden let hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans into the country. They could be activated. But if Trump can pull this off and kick China and Russia out of Venezuela after what he did with the Iranians, it'll give him a lot of power to deter Russia and Ukraine and China and Taiwan.
So there we are, guys. There's big power plays happening right now. The key takeaways from this right now that's happening in South America: 10,000 plus US troops in that region and 10% of the US Navy. You know, and like 10% of the British Navy would be like a shipping vessel and like a rubber dinghy, you know, and that would be it. 10%, the US Navy is bigger than the second nearest navy, which I think is China, by a factor of 10. So the closest competitor, which is China, the US Navy is 10 times bigger then. You've just got to understand these numbers, guys, okay? So to say that there is 10% of the US Navy off the coast of Venezuela, that doesn't happen by accident, guys. They're not there to try and stop drug smugglers. They're there to take Venezuela's oil. Ultimately, guys, that's what they're there for. They're there to take Venezuela's oil. Do you know what? They're not just there to take Venezuela's oil. They're there to stop Venezuela not selling their oil to Putin. Because as you guys know, Putin's a bad guy. He's a great negotiator. And I think all this Tomahawk missile, you know, the skullduggery with the Tomahawk missiles, I think all this is in direct relation, because Donald Trump knew exactly what he was going to do. Hey, Pete, come here, Pete. Are you sober? No? Okay, come back when you're sober. You know, I think Trump, the United States, you know, they've played this out brilliantly, and guys, it's a business play. They've threatened giving the Ukrainians Tomahawk missiles. Again, I'm questioning how much how much lethality they would have had at the end, because I don't really think that would have been a game changer. However, what I do think is it's a massive bargaining chip, guys. It's an absolute bargaining chip in that aspect. Right, guys, I'm going to jump over to you guys on YouTube. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. If you've not done so already, in fact, guys, listen, if you want to know tomorrow's news today at yesterday's prices, make sure you hit those buttons, the like, follow, comment, subscribe button, because honestly, guys, I was talking about things this morning. Breaking news this morning. This afternoon, we literally had all the mainstream media outlets saying the exact words I was saying, and it was all in relation to relationship to the football game that's been well, I guess not football game. It was all in relationship to the Israeli fans not being able to come to the United Kingdom to watch their football game. And look, guys, I will be clear. Let me caveat this. I don't really care about football. I don't really care about football. It doesn't affect my life. Doesn't matter how hard those guys kick that bag of wind. It's not going to affect me. You know, if I support a team, if I support, I don't know, Doncaster United or whatever, and they win, I still have to go to work in the morning. I still have to pay my bills. I still have to put fuel in my car. So it doesn't really affect me. It doesn't really serve me. But I know a lot of people do, and this is a massive constitutional issue. So at the end of this, guys, I will be coming on to this. Let me get some comments, guys. Let me get some comments. Matrix is just saying he's got a load of it. Matrix is throwing some emojis. Right, hang on a minute, guys. Okay, Man United Fever is saying, so what's with the headline World War III? Okay, Man United Fever. Okay, what would you class as a world war? Would you class a world war as multiple countries fighting in multiple domains in an armed conflict? Would you class that as a world war? Like, without using the without using the word, sorry, that's me, I was struggling to say it. Without using the word world war, how would you define a world war? I'll wait for your response, Man United Fever. From now, he's saying 56 to 59 active conflicts involving over 35 countries, economics and peace reports that sound like the world is a war already. Look, guys, remember this, ladies and gentlemen. You know, in the First World War, the BBC didn't come out on the wireless and say, ladies and gentlemen, we are now declaring this to be World War One. This will now be known and forever henceforth as World War One. Didn't happen. It was just a series of conflicts like it is today. World War Two, 1939, when that broke out, the invasion of Poland. Guess what? Nobody came on the news and said, ladies and gentlemen, we are now declaring a state of World War II. This is now defined as World War II, the Second World War. This is now the Second World War. Everybody, please distinguish this from the First World War, which ended in a couple of years ago. This is now World War. It didn't happen, guys. It did not happen. And just because the BBC have not told you doesn't mean it's not happening. Remember, guys, some things are safe and effective that are not safe and effective. Man United is saying, sorry, have I missed something? America attacking them. How does that escalate to... Right, okay. Okay, let me see if... Man United... Bot, what is it? Man United... Okay, so Man United Fever is saying... So Man United's... So Man United Fever on YouTube is saying his definition of a world war is all the countries against each other. So in your definition, there's never been a world war. Man United Fever, in your definition of a world war, there's never actually been a world war. There were plenty of countries in the Second World War, in the First World War. There were conscientious observers. There were plenty of countries that were just not involved. You know, so I guess, listen, guys, Man United Fever's right. There's never been any world wars, guys. Everybody's wrong. Man United Fever, right. There's never been a world war. There's never been a world war. Hang on, guys. Let me jump. Where's the comments, guys? Hang on. Sean McKay is saying, Jews now banned. Do you know what, Sean McKay? What a fantastic question. So, guys, look, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're triple streaming today. We're on YouTube, we're on X, and we are on TikTok. So, Sean McKay over on YouTube is saying, Jews now banned. How long before the Christmas markets are banned so other religions are not offended? Guys, yeah, Sean McKay, were you on the live stream earlier? This is exactly what we were saying on the live stream earlier. We were saying, look, once you open this can of worms, you can't close it. So right now in the United Kingdom, because some people in Birmingham, now you guys put it in the comments who you think that is. Some people in Birmingham have protested. They don't want the Israelis coming over to Birmingham. We don't want them Israelis coming over to Birmingham, innit? Yeah, no, fine, that's not Birmingham, is it? What's Birmingham? We don't want them Israelis coming over to Birmingham. They're gonna bring all the Israeli stuff, and we don't really like it, do we? Sharon! I shouldn't make fun of Aussie, guys. Aussie's great. I love Aussie. But you guys, my Brummie accent's not. Well, there was a guy in the military, and his name was Wildman, and he wasn't wild. And I just remember him saying, the platoon sergeant saying, Wildman, what are you? And he had to say, I'm a contradiction in terms, Sergeant. But yeah, look, guys, as soon as we open this Rubicon, whereby you have a mob of people and they don't want something to happen, where does that end? What if now, do you know what, guys? Sean McKay is giving a better example that I gave this morning. So hats off to Sean McKay. So earlier on this morning, I can't remember what example I was giving. But can you imagine it now? Now the Jew, now we're not allowed, now the Israelis, though, you know, now certain communities, mainly the Muslim community, don't want the Israelis coming to the United Kingdom to play football. Their fans. So what's next? What if, like Sean McKay is saying on YouTube, the Muslim community in Birmingham, and they're like, we don't really like these Christmas markets. They're a little bit inhospitable to us Muslims. And if anybody comes here, we're just going to go rammy and stabby. And then the police are like, oh, you're going to go rammy, stabby. Oh, right, okay. Well, we're just going to bin the Christmas markets then. Then what's next? You know what? We don't actually like Father Christmas coming, and and if we find Father Christmas, we're gonna rammy stabby. So then they tell Father Christmas not to come over the United Kingdom. Absolutely insane, guys. But people don't understand the path that we are on. Sean McKay, your example was far better than the one I gave. So thank you so much for that example. Right, I'm waiting for this guy to jump back up here in a minute. No, I think he's gone. Right, guys, where's the guy gone who was saying a world war is all the countries around the world all fighting? Because that is not what happened in World War One. That is also not what happened in World War II. So I don't know, guys. Are we just rewriting history now? Because Manchester, where is he gone? Where's he gone? Hang on, let me find him. Sadie, oh no, Sadie Butterbaddy. Hello, Sadie Butterbaddy is saying, are we at World War III yet? I think we are, guys. I think we are. I think it, I would argue it started in 2014. I would argue even further it started in 2013. Sorry, not 2013. That's going backwards. I would argue it started in 2014. I would argue further it started in 2022, then 2023. Guys, look, the world is bonkers right now. We have got literally conflict zones right now off the top of my head. We have got obviously Russia, Ukraine. We have got Israel, Gaza, and again, that's a wider regional thing. So it's not just Israel, Gaza. It's Israel, Gaza, Yemen, Iran. Please help me out, guys, if I'm missing anything out there. We've also got Pakistan, Afghanistan. We've also got Pakistan, India. Looks like very soon, within a matter of hours, we could have the United States, Venezuela. We have got the Falkland Islands and Argentina. All sorts of stuff. Like, when all these things are happening, like, yeah, right, the BBC, nobody knows. Guys, look, it will only be called World War III when it's finished. And then we'll get ready for World War IV, which has already started. Right, let me jump down, guys. Let me jump down. James Brooke is saying, so one ethnic group banned from football. What next will be banned from living where they live? It had an era 1930. James, 100%, mate. 100%. I was talking about this on a live stream this morning, and people were jumping up and catching up afterwards. A lot of mainstream media news outlets were repeating the exact same words I was saying this morning. Now I know I wasn't repeating them because they'd not said them yet. But what next? Where does this end? So Sean McKay was saying. What about banning Christmas markets if the mob rules? Remember, guys, I said mob rule this morning, and then what's her name? The black girl who's in charge of the Tory party, Kemi Badenoch. She came out and she was literally, I'm pretty sure she was watching my live stream. She is saying the exact same words. She's saying we can't have mob rule in the United Kingdom because what comes next? Sean McKay saying, what comes next? Banning Christmas markets because people don't like them. James Brooke is saying, what comes next? You guys are not allowed to live there because there's a mob and the mob don't want you to live there, so you're not allowed to live there. Sounds wild, guys. Sounds crazy. But that is modern day Britain, guys. It is modern day Britain. Right, guys, we're jumping back to Venezuela. We are jumping back to Venezuela. So allegedly the the Venezuelan president has been pleading. He's been pleading. He's like, Donald Trump, I'm really pleading with you. He probably was, to be fair. He probably was. After the United States send in the CIA, remember this is one of the things we were talking about yesterday, guys, but the United States has targeted a number of what it claims are drug boats. Again, I don't know what's on those boats, guys. I've no idea what's on those boats. What I do know, let me take that down. What I do know from my personal experience of working in the Middle East, I don't even know if I can say this. Let me caveat it first and then I'll say it. So, I knew a friend who knew a friend. Allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, that friend said that his friend worked for President Karzai, who was then the president of Afghanistan. Karzai's brother, allegedly, or so I'm told through a friend of a friend, guys, so I don't know if this is true, this is just hearsay, like I'd be talking to you in like, somebody's front room or whatever. Apparently, allegedly, Karzai's brother was a big drug runner. He was a big drug runner. He was doing a lot of opiates out of Afghanistan, And that was state-sponsored because his brother was giving him the go-ahead. Now, it could be, and I'm not saying it is, guys, I'm just saying speculatively and, opinionally, for entertainment purposes only, it could be that Venezuela, the Venezuelan president, is taking a blind, he's looking at, he's taking a blind eye to this because he may be getting a good, a nice crafty backhander. Remember, you don't think these things are possible at government level. What's happening in the United Kingdom with the migrants, guys? There's no way to say that the migrant crisis in the United Kingdom is not state-sponsored. It really is. Guys, so many people joining on TikTok. William Thompson, Bombardier, Leslie Karen, Daisy does she? Simon Kendall, Andrew, I can't remember his second name. Cindy Grobler. Wasn't there a goalkeeper called Bruce Grobler or something? Gareth Baker, Jax, Kenny Graham, the covers guy. Hello, because you sell bed covers or something. Jonathan Giles, Hannah, Googly is saying Colombia has threatened to join. I don't know what the last thing was. I don't know what the last thing was there, Googly. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, the crux of this live stream has been, I believe we are hours away from the United States cracking World War III. I don't know what else you guys can call it when so many countries are at active conflict with each other. You cannot not see what's right in front of your eyes. So as we know it, guys, right now, 10% of the US Navy is off the coast of Venezuela. The United States have given the green light for CIA operations in Venezuela. US Special Forces are operating just off the coast in what the media are calling provocative exercises. And also the Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. It's a no deal. We're not going to do that deal. We need Tomahawks ourselves. We like those Tomahawks, don't we? Pete, we like those Tomahawks, don't we? We like those Tomahawks, Donald. Are we going to give them to Ukraine? No, we're not going to give them to Ukraine. What we're going to do is we're going to pretend we're going to give them to Ukraine. So Vladimir Putin comes to the table and lets us take Venezuela without much of a hitch, because we don't want those Earthstick missiles raining down on our U.S. ships. No, sir. We don't want any U.S. Marines going home in body bags. That is the situation right now, guys. Let me just quickly jump over to the United States Special Forces conducting, and this is what the mainstream media are talking about, provocative exercises off the Venezuelan coast. Now, this comes at a very, sensitive time. So helicopters could be used should Donald Trump decide to intensify his show of force. So look, guys, helicopters will be used. Drones will be used, and those drones will be sent from the seas, guys. We've seen this before. We're going to see it again, and we will continue to see this. So there are a lot of oil drilling platforms off the Venezuelan coast. I'm speculating right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is my own speculation. I'm going to speculate that the first phase of this operation will be the United States Special Forces. I would say Delta 4, Navy SEALs. It's the Navy SEALs job. US Navy SEALs, maybe US Marine Corps, Force Recon, whatever. They are going to start to take these oil drilling platforms off the coast of Venezuela. And do you know what Donald Trump's going to say? Do you know what Donald Trump's going to say? He's going to say, yeah, I wanted that oil, so we took it. And now every American's going to have cheaper. We're all going to have cheaper energy costs. And you know what? It's going to be fantastic for the Americans. And fair play to him, guys. Absolutely fair play as far as I'm concerned. You know, it is what it is. You know, you don't want to play ball. You don't want to play catch. You know, when the big boys are in town, you got to play the big boy rules. It looks like the Venezuelans are about to lose their oil. Anyway, guys, look, guys. So many people joining. I can't believe how many people are joining on TikTok, guys. Welcome everyone on TikTok. Guys, can you share my stuff? Can you guys, can you like, comment, subscribe, share, bell notification? I can guarantee everybody watching, after watching my live stream, you're going to have three things. You're going to have a better concept of hair. You're going to be able to look at my hair, go to bed tonight, and sleep well after having a good hour looking at my hair. That's the first thing. And I'm giving you guys that for free. The second thing, you are going to know what's coming in the next days, weeks, months, potentially even hours. So you're going to know tomorrow's news today, potentially at yesterday's prices, because you guys are not paying for it. I do this for free. And the third thing, I'll let you know afterwards, guys, the third thing. I'll tell you the third thing afterwards. So thank you, everybody, for joining, guys. Make sure you keep sharing and liking and subscribing. That really helps me out. So anyway, U.S. Special Forces now conducting operations. And what I believe they are doing is, I believe U.S. Special Forces are conducting reconnaissance missions around those oil rigs. And then they're going to take those oil rigs. Normally, to take an oil rig, you swim to the oil rig and you take it. I don't think the US care. I think they're just going to helicopter. They're just going to land on it and say, "This is our oil rig now. This money's ours." You know, I think that's what they're going to do, guys. I really do, guys. I really do think that's what's going to happen. Google is saying they're putting Venezuela in the same situation as Syria, but they would drag Colombia into the same. Look, guys, we are going to have to watch this one play out. There are a lot of South America. You can't talk about South America without talking about Argentina. You can't talk and ayahuasca. You can't talk about South America without talking about ayahuasca, alternate states of consciousness, alternate states of reality, you know, investigating your consciousness. Also, you can't talk about South America without talking about the Boogosphere. Also, you can't talk about South America without talking about Argentina. You can't talk about Argentina without talking about the Falkland Islands. You can't talk about the Falkland Islands without talking about without Antarctica. All this stuff's connected, guys, and it's just a big tapestry of global political posturing. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the United Kingdom, we have the weakest government. I would speculate we have the weakest government in the United Kingdom since Chamberlain. I don't know if Chamberlain was worse or Keir Starmer's worse. Time will tell. I mean, Starmer's still in, isn't it? So it's difficult to judge someone while they're still in. You've got to judge them when they've gone. Right, guys, I'm going to jump over to the comments on YouTube in a second. But before we do that, we are going to I'll do that afterwards. Actually, I've got a video, but I'll jump onto the comments on YouTube, guys. So many comments. So many comments, guys. I may not be able to get them all, and I do apologize. Positive Programming is saying, I've just joined, Sean. How are you? I'm good, and how are you? I hope we're all well. Namaste. Positive Programming is saying, the title of World War III, and I'm standing by it, guys, okay? I believe we are hours away from a US military intervention into Venezuela. It will happen quick. It will be quick. It will be violent, and there will be no stopping it. That's how you do things, guys. And you know what? People are going to look at this, and you may agree with it. You may not agree with it. Do you know what you will agree with? The military strategy. How fast, how aggressive, how forceful, and how quick it happened. And that's what will happen, guys. And that's what we're about to see. And that's my speculation, analysis, and opinion. We're hours away, guys. Hours away. And the reason I'm saying we're hours away is because of the military buildup. You can't hide things, ladies and gentlemen. People think that you can invade a country without having troops on their border. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Who are you going to invade them with? Like the Rohirrim? What's that ghost? Whatever that ghost army is on Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is racist. Lord of the Rings is racist, ladies and gentlemen. Lord of the Rings is racist. Now, look, I know you guys have been watching me for a while. I love Lord of the Rings. I do. I watch the director's cut of Lord of the Rings every morning before I get out of bed. Whole 12 hours of it. The 12 hours, 47 minutes of the director's cut, Lord of the Rings. It's beautiful, guys. It's just fantastic. It's fantastic cinema. You're not going to... But apparently it's racist now. What do they want? Literally, guys, what do they want? What do they want? Do they want Gandalf bogling? Do they want Gandalf bogling eating fried chicken? Is that going to make it woke? Is that what we have to have, guys? Do we have to have Gandalf twerking on his horse? Gandalf twerking on his horse, eating fried chicken? Is that where we're going? Is that where we are right now? Does Gandalf have to twerk? I don't want to see a twerking Gandalf, guys. I do not ever want to see Gandalf twerk. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I mean, they did this new Disney thing where, there's black elves. Elves are not black. Elves are not black. Elves are the fairest of all. Elves are literally blonde hair, blue. They're like the Nordics. Elves are not. That's how they wrote them. That's how Tolkien wrote them. And you know what, guys? Right? If you're a minority and you're watching this, all right, and you don't like Lord of the Rings, go fuck yourself. Please go and fuck yourself. Go right now. And if you're still here and you don't want to fuck yourself, all right, you don't like Lord of the Rings, make your own shit. Come up with your own shit. Come up with, I don't know, Lord of Palestine, Lord of the Gaza Strip, whatever. I don't care. Make it fantastic. Give it good characters. Give it good character arcs. Give it an appealing approach. Give it that magicalness that Lord of the Rings has. Don't say that I have to buckle Lord of the Rings because of you don't like white Gandalf the White. What, do you want Gandalf black with his rims and his spinners? And he's like, those gold things in his teeth? Yo, Sam, you gotta take this ring. You gotta take this ring to the dunes of to the flames of Mount Doom for show. You feel it, bro? That's not how people talked. That's not how people talk, guys. Okay. If you want to be critical of other people's art, fine. Don't tell them they have to change that art. Make your own stuff that's better. That's how capitalism works, guys. You know, that is literally how capitalism. Sorry, guys, I'm going off on Lord of the Rings. It really pissed me off. Really pissed me off. Oh, I don't even understand it anymore. What? How is Lord of the Rings racist? What do they want? What do they want? And who wants it? Who's saying Lord of the Rings is racist? I don't know. Right, guys, sorry. I was going off on a side quest. I was off on a side quest there. I was off on a side quest. Right, let me get these. Lots of people joining, guys. Well, you know what? Welcome, everyone. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking today. We are talking about the United States hours away from initiating World War III by a military operation into Venezuela. So what we've said already, and I will jump on the mainstream media in a minute, guys, see if there's been any updates. What we can take right now, well, at the start of talking about this live stream, there is 10% of the US Navy in that region. US Special Forces are conducting operations on just off the coast. And the United States have given the green light for CIA operations. By operations, I'm going to speculate that means assassinations. CIA have given the green light for operations in Venezuela. So that's what we know right now, guys. This is a developing situation, and I believe we are hours away. It may even already have happened by Monday. Los Luxfords is saying, you can't make this up. Lord of the Rings racist. Do you know? Oh, hang on. What's Petro saying on YouTube? Hang on. I need to find what Petro's saying on YouTube. Where's Petro? Petro. Hang on, guys. I'm just trying to find Petro on YouTube. I got where's Petro gone? Petro. Is it Petro? Petro. Sorry, guys. I need to pin this comment. Top G Gandalf. Sorry, that's fucking brilliant. Top G Gandalf. Oh, where's Petro? I can't find Petro's comment. I'm going all the way up. There's lots of comments here. I don't know where Petro. Can you comment again? I don't know where Petro's comment is, guys. I don't know where I can't find anyone called Petro. I'm literally right to the top of the screen now, guys. I can't find anybody's comment called. Guys, who's Petro? I can't find Petro's comment. Petro, make a noise. Where's Petro at? Where's my brother Petro? Petro, where are you, brother? I don't know what Petro's saying, guys. I can't find his comment. This is what happens. This is what happens when people start to encroach on Lord of the Rings, guys. Don't do it. Don't do it when Raven's here, because I ain't having that shit. Remember, I think the comment of the night is Top G Gandalf. Top G. I mean, he is a top G, innit? Gandalf would definitely know where to put your money in crypto. You should not put your money in Bitcoin because it's about to fall. Look, guys, I can't give crypto advice. I'm not that guy. Freddie is saying, Colombian president. Oh, right. Okay, right. I think this is what we're talking about here, guys. Right, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I think this is the comment we're talking about. Okay, so Freddie is saying Colombian President Petro accused the US of bombing a Colombian vessel in the Caribbean, claiming citizens were on board and calling it an aggression against all of Latin America and the Caribbean. Okay, let's play this out then. Let's play this out. Nobody cares. Like, Donald Trump doesn't care. Donald Trump has the biggest navy, the biggest air force, and the biggest army. They can do whatever they want. I think, guys, look, and I know I'm biased, but I think this is all a power play to get down to Antarctica. Well, let's just consider this. Let's just consider if South America, if South America gains in strength, look, guys, I'm giving you this in real time. South America unites. Let's just say South America unites. South America come together and they're all by this guy Petro or whoever, and they say, you know what, we're a force to be reckoned with. We want to take Antarctica because, guys, look, as far as I'm concerned, everything is about Antarctica right now. Minerals, real estate, opportunity is in Antarctica. That's where Western civilization is heading. So if South America is united, it may be a force to oppose whatever force is going down there. Now, a destabilized South America, that wouldn't happen. That would not happen. That wouldn't be in the same context. But as Freddie is saying, it could be, and I will go with this, guys. I will go with this. What could happen is, and this could actually happen, you could have the whole of South America uniting against the United States. What can they do? Militarily, not much. But what we do know is wars now have wide-ranging. Wars now have. It's not just your Navy, Army, and Air Force. It's now your Navy, Army, Air Force, space applications, grey soldiers, asymmetric warfare, your economic might. So your online presence as well. It is that's a weapon of war, guys. So now you start to open up this whole war sphere, whereas the West are leading in conventional warfare, Army, Navy, and Air Force. Where the West are lacking behind massively is in the non-conventional forces, like massively lacking behind, guys, really are. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys on TikTok, I'm going to be closing you guys down in less than 1 minute. I am, guys, less than 1 minute. You guys on TikTok are going diddly swizzle. You're going diddly swizzle for the shizzle. I'm going to be jumping over to YouTube and X. I'm going to get my keg out of the fridge and I'm going to pour myself a carbonated drink. Yes, sir. Yes, I am. I'm going to pour myself a carbonated drink. I can't do that while I'm on TikTok because they won't let me. I'll get the live stream banned for, I don't know, reasons. But look, guys, just a quick rundown what's been happening. And I've not even touched the football thing yet, have I? I've got a video to play, and I'll play that when I jump over to YouTube. Look, guys, the reality of the situation is I believe the United States are hours away from striking Venezuela. And I don't know how anyone cannot say that that's World War III. How can you not say now? You've literally got a conflict on every continent then. I think you would. You would have Antarctica and Australasia. There would only be 2 continents you wouldn't have a conflict on. So that's more than the Second World War. And for those people who are saying, like, I was talking earlier on the chat and I said, right, what would your definition of a world war be? And he said, oh, everybody fighting. Well, I said, well, that didn't happen in the First World War, didn't happen in the Second World War. So where does that Overton window lie? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been fantastic. Right, guys, there's lots of people joining there's a lot of people joining, okay? I'm going to close this live stream down now, and I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I hope you follow me over to YouTube, guys. I really do. Maybe I'll not be closing down at all. Hang on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hang on. Give me a second. Give me a second. I think we're in. Yes, good. So I'm going to close this down now, guys. I'm going to be jumping over to YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. And I'm the Real Raven 1 on TikTok. If you're not jumping over to YouTube to join the party, guys, I'm going to get some carbonated drinks out. It might get a bit wild. I might even get some a little bit of Iron Maiden. I was running to Rammstein today, guys. He just came on. And I thought, you know what? Let's do it. It's Friday. I'm going to be jumping over, guys. If you're not following me over, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Yes, I will, good sir. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'll be giving you guys live updates on the Venezuelan situation. Guys, I believe we are hours away. Remember, it's a Friday. Things happen on a Friday. Anyway, guys, I'm going to close you guys down now, and I will be jumping over to you, and I hope to see you there. Right, we're off. We are off, ladies and gentlemen. Right, guys, I'm going to get the keg out. No, we're not off. We're not off. Hang on. We're off. We are off now. We're off now. I'm going to close this down now, guys. Well, I have closed this down. I'm going to jump off screen for 2 seconds. I'm going to open the fridge and I'm going to get a keggity keg out. And then once I've got the keggity keg, I'm going to put it right there and I'm going to drink the beardy beer. Oh. Oh. Go in there. Look, it's getting ready, guys. We're getting ready. It's a Friday night. It's like when you come to Ravens, when you come to the Ravens house, like everything's provided. Go to the shop, get it like pay your own money for beers. That is totally like gay. Like only gays do that. Real men make their own beer. They do. They make their own beer. Now I have no idea how this is gonna. I have no idea how this is gonna pour, guys. It might pour and it might be just a froth bucket. But you know what? It's how we roll, guys. It's Friday night. Let's rock it. Let's rock it like it's 1997. Ah, it's frothy. It's frothy its head off. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. That'll settle down in a minute, guys. It'll settle down in a minute. Anyway, right. Let's get some of these questions. Let's get some of this chat, guys. I am going to play this video. I may play this video. So the Culture, Media and Sport Committee. Oh, yeah, this is the thing. So look, guys, I'm going to jump to Israel real quick. I know I talked about this morning, but I just want to elaborate on this. I'll read it and I'll give commentary. So the Culture, Media and Sport Committee has asked West Midlands Police to explain why it does not believe it can safely police Aston Villa's match against Maccabi Tel Aviv. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right. But look, guys, say that to yourself again. The police in the United Kingdom can't provide security. What does that tell you? Mob rule, guys. It's not. So mob rule is not a thing. Mob rule is not a thing that people are talking about in the future. It's here now. It's here now, guys. Mob rule's here. So here's the thing, so what happens at, like Sean McKay was saying, what happens at a Christmas market, Christmas market and, a certain community don't want that Christmas market. So, and they say, yeah, there's going to be a lot of violence at the Christmas market if you have it. And the council say, oh, right, okay. Yeah, cross that one off. What's next? Oh, yeah, we don't actually want Christmas. What do you mean? We don't actually want anyone to talk like we don't want to listen to that shit. Oh, well, we're a Christian country. Yeah, but we're going to go crackers. We're going to go rammy, stabby, stabby. It's appeasement. It's appeasement. At some point, ladies and gentlemen, at some point, people have to stand up for themselves. At some point, people have to say, you know what? I'm good. Thank you very much. And no matter what concessions you get at that point, you have to go to annihilation. Either your annihilation or your enemy's annihilation. And that's what I don't think people understand. When you start these games, you have to see them through. It's like, what fantastic Tombstone, what a fantastic film. On Tombstone, what a Doc Holliday, guys, come on. What a fantastic character Doc Holliday is. Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday. So, the end of Tombstone, where, what's his name, Michael Bean or Johnny Ringo. Johnny Ringo goes to meet Wyatt Earp at the tree by the Orchard Grove or whatever, and Doc Holliday's waiting for him, and Johnny Ringo sees his ass and he's like, I was just playing with you. Doc. I was just fooling. And Doc Holliday goes, I won. I'm your Huckleberry. Say when. That's kind of how you have to go. You know, you have to say, right, okay, you've taken too much now. We had a problem. I'm not going to tell you. We had a problem with someone. How do I put this without doxing myself? So we had a problem with a neighbor, and I know we don't have neighbors, but that's the best way I'm gonna be able to describe it. So we had a problem with a neighbor, somebody who lives local, somebody who lives within our vicinity. I tried to be nice. I tried to help. For 2 years, I tried to help. I tried to come, and then ultimately, I got an email, a letter actually. It was on a PDF. They'd actually signed this letter. And I just took a deep breath. I thought, right, okay, whatever happens now, whatever route we go down, whatever concessions that other side give to me, I can't accept them because we're in conflict. And I need to go to a stage of annihilation. Either they buckle or I buckle. And of course, I won. Of course I won. And I've got a lot more land now. But, you know, people need to understand this. This is a fundamental rule of warfare. Avoid war at all costs. But if you're in a war, win the war at all costs. And that's where we are in the United Kingdom, guys. But it does look like we have a very appeasing government. Right, guys, we've settled ourselves a bit. The head's gone a bit. It's still carbonated. I'm going with that, guys. I'm going to do that. Oh, do you know what, guys? Not only do I have the best hair on the internet, not only do I go to the gym the most, not only am I the fittest, the fastest, the most intelligent, you know, the best looking, but God, I can't half brew a beer. I can brew a beer like no one can, guys. I've got some vodka coming as well. God, it's perfectly chilled as well. Perfectly chilled. I think any colder, it'd be unbearable. It starts to hurt your teeth. That is perfect. Fingers up, so it's got to be perfect. Oh, delicious, delicious. Right. Sorry. Steph is saying, Sean, if you were to go to a Christmas market with the family this year, which areas do you think would be safest? None. I think they're all equally as dangerous. If I was going to a Christmas market, what I would do is have situational awareness. Now, it's almost impossible for me to tell you to have situational awareness because unless you've been there in those scenarios, unless you've been there and something's gone wrong, you will never have situational awareness. But what I would say is try and have as much situational awareness as possible. Look at the roads. Are those diversity barriers there? You know those massive 2-ton flower pots that are just in them. Oh, we've got these flowers in now. This is diverse, you know. Are they in place? You know, are there armed police on the ground? You know, because they will be a deterrent. When you go as well, look on the rooftops. Do you have people with guns on the rooftop? Good guys, obviously, on the roof with gun tops, you know. Situational awareness. I've been in a lot of gunfights. I have, guys. I've been in a lot of gunfights. I did a lot of shooting. Lots of shooting. You think we're going through the door. We don't go in through the door. We're going through the wall. Make a big explosion in the wall. That's how those guys go in. They send the dogs in first. The dogs, little Malinois. You know, so I've been in a lot of gunfights. And one thing I can tell, every time you can sense it beforehand. And I'm not going Wolverine. I'm not going Lord of the Rings. I probably should. You can sense, you know, these things are about to happen. You see things, and afterwards you'll be sat there and they'll say, yeah, this happened and I knew I should have reacted, but I didn't react. Trust your gut, guys. Trust your gut. That's what I'm saying. Oh no, not more Rachel Reeves news. Please, no more Rachel Reeves. I can't deal with Rachel Reeves. Lisa Jane is saying, Rachel Reeves to overhaul the mobility benefit. Too many people have mobility cars who shouldn't have them, i.e. people with acne. I don't know how this works, guys. You know, Lisa, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have much information on this. All I know about these mobility cars, and it was a massive statistic, like 25% of new cars sold in the UK go to people who have acne or mobility issues or whatever. So 25% of new cars go to people who are claiming this, I don't know, mobility benefit. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I wish I could comment, guys. Look, Lisa, I do tanks, bombs, guns, planes, trains, automobiles, drones, cruise missiles, geopolitics, you know, interpersonal relationships. Mobility benefits, you're shit out of luck, guys. I can't really give you much context on that. The Watchman is saying, lol, Sean. Halsey is saying, you got spikes over. I don't know what that means, Halsey. I don't know what that means, Halsey. I really don't. But you know, I'm sending love your way, Halsey. If you can articulate that better, I mean, no disrespect. I just don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Halsey. Halsey, I'm sure you're a beautiful person. I don't know what that means. I love you, but I don't know what that means. You got spikes over tier make. Again, there are letters there. I can see 1, 2. I can see 3 words. I can see 3 words in that, Halsey. So if you can articulate that better, I'll come on to that. I mean, no disrespect. I just don't know what you mean. But I think you said that in a beautiful accent. I feel you have a beautiful accent. From now, is saying Christmas markets have been cancelled due to concern about overcrowding. Yeah, bullshit. It's rammy, stabby. Potential terror attacks. How long before they are gone altogether? Government will. Do you know what? From now, I agree, mate. I agree. Christmas markets are going. This is one of the reasons why I want to move to Ukraine. They love those Christmas markets. I love how you do tanks, bombs, trains, planes, automobiles, all the other stuff. I could type quickly. Don't worry about it. Leanne is saying, will China get involved in South America? I don't think so. I don't think China want to get involved in South America. China have got enough to deal with in Africa. China are slowly taking Africa. I've got a few friends who work in Democratic Republic of Congo. That's not a democracy, and it's not a republic. So I've got a few friends who work in the DRC, and what they're telling me is there's just been you may be able to find this online. They're telling me that there's just been a copper. They've just found copper in Congo, DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and the purity of this copper is beyond anything anyone's ever found before, and it's got the ability to reset global power. So, and the Chinese are in control of that region. So I don't think the Chinese want to get involved militarily with anyone. In fact, you know what? I would say right now they don't want to get involved with anyone. Amanda Bullen is saying, I know you're talking World War III, but yes, no, I agree, Amanda. So look, Amanda, when we're talking about what's happening in the United Kingdom, and it's not just the United Kingdom, guys, Amanda, it's around the globe. We have literally, like, in lockstep, Britain, Canada, and Australia, the exact same stuff is happening pretty much by the day, the exact same stuff. So when I talk about World War IV, in my context, World War IV started before World War III, because World War IV is, like you're saying, you know, civil war. You know, I need to be quite clear. A civil war would be 2 factions. What we're going to have, it's not going to be a civil war in that context. It's going to be more. I don't even know what they're going to have a new name for it. Basically, but I can't think of a better name for it, Amanda, than civil war. So I'm going to go with civil war. Southern Jack is saying, oh, Southern Jock, sorry, I do apologize. What's that film with, what's that movie? He's got Ben Stiller and he played Tropic Thunder. Is somebody called Jack in that? Anyway, Southern Jack is saying, bring back those little blue three-wheelers like they had for mobility in the 50s and 60s. Unfortunately, Southern Jock, I wasn't alive in the 50s and 60s, although I think maybe a reincarnation of me was alive in the 50s and 60s. Freddie is saying, Trump says Venezuelan president doesn't want to fuck around with... Look, right, okay. So Freddie's saying here that Donald Trump says Venezuelan President Maduro doesn't want to fuck around with the United States. Nobody wants to fuck around with the United States. And like, I'm saying this as a Brit. When you understand the firepower that like the military firepower that the US can bring to bear, it's not even worth playing. You don't even want to play that game. Just do as you're told. Literally, if I was Maduro, I would do it. I would do what I'm told. I'd phone Donald up. I'd say, right, Donald, yeah, what do you want me to do? When do you want me to do it by? That's what I would say if I was Maduro, because otherwise he's going to get American. Lisa Jenny saying, Ofcom finds BBC in breach of broadcasting code with Gaza documentary. Yeah, I saw something about this. Wasn't the BBC paying Hamas terrorists on their thing? Right, guys, I'm literally just going to have to jump. I'm going to have to run away to go to the toilet real quick. Can you guys wait there? Are you guys going to wait there? When I get back, I'll give a synopsis of what I've been talking about, and then we'll start closing this down, guys. I'm literally just going to go to the toilet. I'll be under 2 minutes, maybe under 1 minute. I don't know, but I'll be right back. Right, we are back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back, and I'm going to give you guys a quick synopsis, what we've been talking about, and I will get the rest of the questions, and then I may or may not have another beer. So, Trump says no to talk about that. We can't really pay much attention to that. So, publicly now, Donald Trump has said that he's not going to supply Ukrainians with Tomahawk missiles. Remember, guys, we've been talking about this, and I've been saying how I think this was a power play whereby the United States signal they're going to give Tomahawks to the Ukrainians. This is good, guys. It's 4.7 as well. I was a little bit shocked how strong it came out. So I think this was a power play whereby Donald Trump said he made it public knowledge that he was considering giving Tomahawk missiles to the Ukrainians. Vladimir Putin's thinking, I don't want Tomahawk missiles on our doorstep. They can be nuclear armed. Yura, do we have defense against Tomahawk missiles? Well, Vladimir, they only carry 450 kilos. Yes, but Yura, do we want them? No, of course not. It's one more thing to worry about. Okay, I tell Donald Trump, I think it was a bargaining chip, guys. I think the Ukrainians have been used here. I really do. I think this is the Ukrainians being used. And what you've got to understand is this whole pomp and pageantry. It's a dance. It's an absolute dance. It's pageantry, guys. It really is a dance. What else have we got? 10,000 plus troops. That's a lot of troops, guys. And when we talk about 10,000 US troops, that means they're like real troops, you know, like real, like they can really do stuff. They have capacity, not like 10,000 conscripts that would have limited capacity. So 10,000 troops plus 10% of the US Navy. And look, guys, I don't think people understand how much 10% of the US Navy actually is. When you consider that the US Navy, so basically it's the size of the Chinese Navy. The US have put the size of the whole Chinese Navy right on the doorstep of Venezuela. And let's not forget, guys, let's not forget, they're not within bombing, they're not beyond bombing range to fly sorties from the United States themselves. I mean, they're South America, the United States and North America. You know, you've got air bases in the Caribbean, you've got, you know, air bases in that region. So, you know, to have that capacity, the Venezuelans are about to get a pounding, guys. You know, that's what I'm saying anyway. The president's been, the Venezuelan president's been pleading for peace. Also, the mainstream media are saying after Donald Trump sends in the CIA. And when I'm talking about sending the CIA, I'm speculating that the CIA means assassination ops. U.S. Special Forces have been conducting provocative exercises off the coast of Venezuela. I think they're going to seize those oil drilling wells, rigs, you know, I do the offshore drilling rigs, offshore drilling rigs. That's what I think they're going for, guys. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you take those? Money. A lot of money. Why wouldn't you take that money? Of course you would. Who's going to say to Donald Trump, yeah, you can't do that? Like who? The Autobots? Is the Autobots going to tell them, like Optimus Prime going to come down and say, Donald Trump, we resist your taking. We ain't got no Autobots, guys. We ain't got no Autobots. And more closely at home, guys, this banning, I spoke about this before in the live stream this morning, guys. And if you've not watched the live stream this morning, go check that out because I went into depth about that. This morning, we was talking about the banning of the Israeli football supporters to this football game in Birmingham. And what I said this morning, all mainstream media have been repeating. That's fine. You know, they don't have their own shit to say. It's fine. They can copy me. But like a few guys have said, what comes next? If we have mob rule, right, we don't want to have Christmas markets. Okay, Christmas markets are banned. We don't want to see Christmas cards in shops. Okay, we don't want. Okay, we don't want churches. Right? Okay, where you see where it goes. As soon as you start appeasing people, you can never appease people. Guys, look. If you feel you need to appease someone, then you need to go to war. That's the reality. If you look at something and you think I could appease them, that is a mental acknowledgement that you need to go. That it's time for war. You know, I feel that's where we are now. Anyway, guys, let me jump down and get the rest of these comments, and then we will down time to Swiddly Disley. Clive Lewis is saying bloody heel. I think that means bloody hell, but I think he's. I think your autocorrect got you. Endeavour to Preserve is saying diddly swizzle. We love a diddly swizzle. We love it. I make words up all the time, guys. I make words up all the time. Has anybody seen that new law brought in that if you swear it, oh God, that can't be a law. Do you know what, Lisa? Lisa Jane is saying, has anyone seen that new law? Look, Lisa, my initial thoughts when I read your comment was, that's ridiculous. But we're in Britain in 2025. So, you know what? Maybe I'm being ridiculous. Maybe that's the thing. Let me jump down. David O'Rourke is saying, with the emergence of AI development and the likes of Apple and Google building nuclear power infrastructure, could we see them with an army in the future already? So I think it depends what we mean by an army, doesn't it? A drone army? Absolutely. A human army where you've got tanks and bombs and guns and planes and, you know, and all sorts of stuff. I don't think that would be the case, because you can't really hide that. I think certainly, you know, these big tech companies, they have the capacity and they have the ability to build their own drone armies, an automated army, absolutely. But as far as humans are concerned, I struggle to see that. But look, guys, we've already said warfare is changing. It's not only, you know, it's not only your army, navy, and air force. It's your army, navy, air force, asymmetric forces, grey forces, space forces, you know, non-conventional forces, all these things. Like the Iranians, their military budget is spent 50-50. So they have 50% of their military budget goes to their military, and the other 50% goes to their non-conventional forces, their saboteurs, their assassins, whatever non-conventional you guys are thinking about, that's what it goes to. So we understand that warfare is changing, and it has changed. The Watchman with a picture of a pigeon, a fantastic pigeon. I love that pigeon. I think that is the best looking pigeon I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of pigeons, and a lot of them have been good looking, but that pigeon is the best looking pigeon I've ever seen. The Watchman is saying Black Ops. I don't know what that means. Amir Cricket is saying, when they gonna numbers everything un-Muslim is haram, and see for yourself they saw with haram. Okay, so I'm struggling. Amir Cricket, could you articulate that a little bit more, because I'm struggling. I think what Amir is saying there is, you know, Muslims like to say things are haram and they don't want to do it, you know. So for example, like, you know, I know where I live, about 20 minutes away, there are a lot of places, you know, there's one particular place actually, and I know there are a lot of places in the United Kingdom, but there's one particular place about 20 minutes away from where we live, and the police just don't go there. The police are not allowed to go there. So, you know, it's a very strange concept that we're living in at the moment. Freddie is saying, burqa ban bill approved by Portugal's parliament, seen as targeting Muslim women. Well, who else is it going to target? Who else is it going to target? Like Catholic men? Look, guys, I don't know why. Like, I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, Afghanistan, Iraq, 5 years. I used to live in Baghdad for 5 years, Syria, various places in, I guess, that whole northern Iraq region. It's autonomous, but it's called Kurdistan. You know, and I will be honest with you, the women there don't wear the, maybe in Afghanistan they do, but in Baghdad, women don't wear the burqa. In Syria, women don't wear the burqa. Certainly in Kurdistan, they don't wear the burqa. It really is like only a Western thing that women wear the burqa, and it's a very strange thing. It's a very strange concept when you've got like women saying that oppression is empowerment. It's literally George Orwell's 1984 doublespeak. It really is. It's just wild. And like to put this on a light note, have you guys seen there was a video going around on social media a while back, and there was a guy, and he comes into the petrol station on a motorbike, And he comes into the petrol station on a motorbike, obviously with his helmet on, and he starts filling up with petrol with the motorbike. And the woman on the tannoy, she says, "Pump 7, remove your helmet," or whatever. And he removes his helmet and he's got a burqa on. He's wearing a burqa. Oh, guys, honestly, I was in bits. And he says, "It's my man burqa. It's my man burqa. It's my religion. It's my man burqa." And but it highlights, although it was quite funny, it highlights like a fundamental truth. How do you know who that is? Like, literally, how do you know that's not Osama bin Laden walking past? You don't know who these people are, which is fine. Am I okay to walk around with a balaclava on? You know, these little chavs who are doing this. "Yeah, fam, you hear me, bro. You hear me, bro. You hear me, fam. You heard me, fam." I'm like, grow up, mate. Grow up. Get to the gym. Get to the gym. Run as fast as Raven. Since you talked about how they condemn Jewish in football, all right. Sorry. I mean, I was struggling to try and contextualize what I was talking about. Since you talked about how they condemn the Jews in football and talked about how, for example, they can jump up to celebrate Christmas. Okay, right, right, okay, I understand. Yeah. So some communities, like the Muslim community, will say that Christmas is haram. Oh, Christmas is haram. We don't want to celebrate Christmas in this region, so we're going to bin it. And then that's just going to spread. And like I keep saying, ladies and gentlemen, you can't appease people. You just can't appease people. It doesn't work. And Max 4 Gaming is saying that this cabal will get what they want when they starve us Muslims, can run around. Oh God, right, okay. This cabal will get what they want when they starve us Muslims, when they starve us Muslims can run around all they like. When they create a famine, you will have no choice. Max PS4 Gaming, I don't know what that means, mate. And look, I'm not being negative. Amir Cricket, I didn't understand what he was saying either. So I asked him and he articulated himself and I could understand that. But guys, can anyone help me out on this? This cabal will get what they want. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, guys. Look, Max PS4 Gaming, if you can you articulate that a little bit better, mate, and come back to me? I'll try and respond, but I don't know what that means. Does that mean this cabal will get what they want when they starve us Muslims, or this cabal will get what they want when they starve us Muslims can run around all day? I don't know. Punctuate. Look, guys, I don't mean to be disrespectful to anyone, but I don't understand what that means. Freddie is saying key US nuclear agency to send 80% of the workforce home as shutdown drags on. Look, guys, you know this US shutdown, is it just me, or is anybody else thinking that this US shutdown is very convenient right now? Like, there's a lot of shit happening and you're like, right, the United States is the leader of the Western world. You guys don't need to be taking the days off. You guys need to be at work. Potsinator is saying a random question, but is there a story behind the name Raven? Yes, there's a really big story and a fantastic story. So Raven was the name that people used to call me in the military, and that's as far as I'm going. I'm trying to get, where's this? I'm trying to find this guy. Right, he's not come back on yet. Where's the guy? Sean, can you know this guy in the chat? Who? I've already taken 714 out. 741's already gone. 741 went a while ago, guys. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I don't even tell them they're going now. I just take them out. It's, you know, I don't give them the time or the like, you know, when I just see these things going and I just can't be bothered anymore. So when I see people on the chat and they're being dicks, I just think I'm not even going to argue because that's what they want. I'm not even going to give them the attention. I just get rid of them. So 741 is all they've been gone a while. Yeah, they've been gone a while, guys. 741's been a while. Okay, right. Okay, so Max. Basically, they will create a famine and no one will be safe. We can fear Muslims and so on, but they are attacking farms. Right, okay. Yes. No, I agree, Max. You know, look, ultimately, guys, you know, there's more that unites people than separates people. And if you've been following this channel, one of the tropes of this channel is we need to stop these wars. Like every war is pointless. Absolutely pointless. Young people die. Young people who don't know each other kill each other. Old people who know each other talk. And that's war. And in 10 years, after that war is over, things will be exactly the same as they were. So wars don't achieve anything. Again, one of the tropes of this channel is I think we should spend, like, rather than killing each other, we should spend our time, effort, money, and resources into space exploration. But yeah, I do think there's a war on farmers. There's a war on farms. There's a war on creating our own food. Just where we live, you know, there's like a few, I don't know how many, I should probably count them, but there's like lots of fields that have like those purple flowers in them because they get more money now, the farmers, by growing flowers than growing food. And also there's a big thing in there's like these fields in Doncaster, which is like about 20 well, it's not far away, and they want to use the agricultural land for solar panels. So yeah, I totally agree, mate. You know, there is a thing. Laurie Hill is saying, totally agree, Sean. Thank you so much, Laurie. I do appreciate it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, listen, I am going to close this down now. I'd love to chat on, you know, I'm going to drink this first. By the beard of Zeus. Yeah. And Odin's eye. Fantastic brew. I made that myself, guys. I made it myself. Yeah, guys, I'm going to close this down now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back on tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'm really keeping an eye on Venezuela at the moment, guys. I think we're hours away from a massive military strike. Also, the conflict in the Middle East. We've got Gaza, we've got Israel, we've got the war in Ukraine. All sorts of dilly swizzles are happening, guys. Okay, remember it's a Friday. Crazy things happen on a Friday. It's not as late as it is today in some parts of the world. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be back on tomorrow morning. If you've not done so already, make sure you like, follow, comment, subscribe. Yeah, that's the one. Bell notifications down below, guys, because it really helps me out when you guys do that. And share my stuff on your socials. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. I'll bid you good evening.